What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Switch Up Sports, and today we're going to be talking about what it means to be born to win. As a part of Born to Win Media, that Switch Up Sports has now transitioned into what that means. It's not just a company name, it's not just something that is out there. Born to Win is a deeper meaning behind it, and I'd like to kind of get into that today. So, with Switch Up Sports, what I've pivoted and transitioned to now is instead of being a relative sports talk show that does different news and sports topics, it is now about what sports has taught me and what sports has taught others. As you've already seen, I've done 3 podcasts with 3 separate guests: Justin Stills, Brandon Smith, and my sister Taylor. So with those 3 podcasts, we're going to see a lot more of different guests coming on here. I'm not going to tell you guys who. There's a couple decently big names that you guys are going to know, but I'm going to keep that on the down low for right now. I'm not going to go too crazy or anything. Still working out some of the details. So it's still in the works, not 100% as of yet. So that's the other reason I'm not going to go ahead and say anything. But it's going to be more athlete conversations. It's going to be more about what sports means to us as athletes and how we've pivoted. For example, we're talking to my sister of how she's pivoted now after sports. And that's the same kind of conclusion I've come to here. Is like, I'm still playing sports, but there's a lot of things that I'm doing on the business side. So I want to be as informative to you guys as possible. I still want to be entertaining, so I'm not just going to, bore you guys to death. I'm going to try to tell stories, and that's kind of how it's going to go. But that's what the transition now for Switch Up Sports is going to be. I've got a lot of information in my head. I've got a lot of different years of wrestling and football and baseball and track and soccer and gymnastics and cheer and being a mascot. So I've got a lot of stories. I just want to be able to help you guys out. I know maybe there's one person out there that hearing my story or hearing something that I said or hearing something could change their life. And I just would feel a lot better knowing that I could have given some extra positive to the world. As we look at 2023, we can look at it as there's a lot of negatives that go on in this world. And I think just the portrayal of what the media has done is only shining the darkness and the bad stuff that's going on when there's a lot of really, really good stuff that's happening, because life, we'll get into it later, but it's about balance. And I think more positivity needs to be brought in the world. I think as the rise of showing all the bad, we need a same rise in a lot of the positive stories and all the things that can help. So I hope to be able to do that. And if you guys like the show, like, comment, subscribe, do all the fun social media / YouTube / podcast stuff, and we'll just kind of go from there. But get into it. Is why Born to Win. Born to Win is truly, when you break it down, it's like, okay, born to win. You're going to achieve. So you look at born. What is born? Born is the beginning. Born is a start. And then you look at two. 2 is 2. Like, yes, that's 2. But it's more about it's 2. It's now. And then win is achievement. It's success. And it's start to achieve. Start to win. That's what it encompasses. It's not just the name. It's not just, some catchy thing. It's like, no, that's what we're trying to embody. It's not just, born to win, that's cool. No, like, it's truly a different lifestyle. It's a different change. You can't just expect something be handed to you. That's the difference about Born to Win versus, I expected this outcome, or, well, this was supposed to happen. It's like, well, how about you go make it happen? So it's like starting to achieve is underneath of what Born to Win is. At the end of the day, Born to Win equates to winning is natural. We're all good at something. Whatever that something is, it comes very natural to you. whether it's sports, whether it's drawing, whether it's music, whether it's coding, whatever it is, there are some things in life that come to you very easily. Maybe you haven't found it yet. Maybe you might be the absolute best person at making a fire pit and you just have it on lock. Like you're just the best person at it and you're going to be able to charge $1,000 for everything that every little project you do. It's like that's the minimum. And like that's how good you are at it because you just produce these beautiful fire pits that just were a spark of out of your mind. Maybe you're like a Patrick Mahomes where you're incredibly talented at multiple sports and you decide on one sport and you make it to the highest level and people now have an argument based off of you're the best to ever do it. That could be you in whatever you decide, but there's something in you that makes you naturally good at it. So that's where the winning is natural because everyone was born to win at something. It's going to come naturally to you and you're the only person that knows that. So start on it now and get into it now because only you know what you want. If you start now, you can have what you want sooner. It might be 5 years, it might be 10 years, it might be 20. But if you allow that time to start ticking before you get started, time's not stopping. Time's not going backwards. It's not going to be given back to you. I can attest to this because I've now looked at it as 2023 and looked back to 2018, and it's been 5 years. And the last 5 years of what I've done and what I had planned to do don't really match up. And the reason they don't match up is because I didn't really have a plan. I was just kind of out there, aimless, floating along without a real plan, without a real goal in mind, without a driven purpose. And to some degree, of course, I'm still searching for it. Of course, I'm always trying to find it. I have a better idea. I've got more knowledge now, but I didn't understand that until I started working towards it. I didn't understand that until I finally decided something and said, okay, I'm going to start walking in this direction and I'm going to start doing everything I can down this path. If this path comes to a dead end, well, cool. Then I'll backtrack and I'll find where I could have made a left or a right or something. But I had to start somewhere and I had to pick somewhere to go. Essentially, if you don't pick somewhere to go, you don't have a plan, you're not going to get where you're going. If I said, hey, I'm sending you on a vacation for the next 5 days, you can pick where you want to go, you can spend however much you want to spend, you have absolute carte blanche, you can do whatever you want. You're going for 5 days, you're leaving tomorrow. All right, see you later. And I turned around and left. You'd come running back and chase me down and you'd say, whoa. What's the plan here? Like, do I have a plane ticket? Do we have a hotel? Like, am I checking in somewhere? Like, am I supposed to meet somewhere? What's the time? Like, what is the plan? And that's the point. It's like, what is your plan? Now, you might find what you're naturally good at, and then it's actually a little easier to kind of know what your plan is because you're normally achieving a lot at it and you see a lot of success with it. So it's like, okay, well, you can probably stick down that road and stick down that path and find something down that way because that it's what you're naturally good at. That's a great place to start. Aside from that, and kind of a little bit of a pivot, the human body is the only machine that gets better with work. If you get up and you go run every morning, I guarantee you, after a week, if you ran the same, let's just say you got up and ran a mile. If after a week you still kept going, that next week that you're going to go run that mile, I guarantee you that next week it's really a lot easier. Your time would drastically come down after just 1 week if you did it for 7 straight days And on your 8th day, that time would come down substantially. Now, substantially could be 15 seconds. It could be 2 minutes. It just depends on how much you're going to push yourself. But it would come a lot easier to you because you've now done it more and your body's getting accustomed to it. Yes, you're going to be very sore after the first day. You'll be sore after the second and the third, probably the fourth. But as you keep doing it, your body will then get used to it. We're the only thing that gets better with more work. You send any machine, you send any car, laptop, phone, whatever it is, if you run it for a very long time, it doesn't get better. We do. That's the difference. So what you're naturally good at, you can get better at. And more importantly, what you're not good at, you can become very, very good at. I was really not that big into technology. I know how to work phones. I can do all that basic stuff. Like, I'm not saying I'm dumb with it, and I'm not saying I was really ever behind, but when it came to, let's say, designing a website, I had no clue. When it was initially about editing a video, I had no clue. When it was about how to scrub audio and how to do all this crazy other stuff, it's like, I had no clue. And where I'm at now versus where I started, I'm not saying I'm anywhere near closest to the people who do it and are very good at it, but I'm drastically better than when I first started. And that's the change. That's the shift. It's all about momentum. And we can combine science and just regular everyday life. Like, they all mean the same thing. It's all the same. There's yin and yang, and it's positive and negative. There's highs and lows. Science says the same exact thing because everything is made up of atoms. You boil it all the way down to the smallest possible thing you can. Everything is made up of atoms. And what is in an atom? A proton, an electron, positive and a negative. That's it. Everything in life is composed of positives and negatives. No matter which way you look at it. You can look at the more spiritual side and yeah, it's yin and yang and karma and ups and downs and ebbs and flows. But it's like, you look at the science side. Okay, boil everything down to its main fundamental component that compares everything across all matter. Atoms. Proton, electron. Positive and negative. Simple as that. So, if you take the same for science about momentum, if you get started in a direction, you will continually move in that direction unless acted upon. So if you apply the same force in the same direction, all that's going to happen is you are going to get faster and faster and faster and faster, and it's an exponential graph. So it turns into one of those lines that looks like a hockey stick. And it's like, it's dun, 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 shoots up. That's what's going to happen with you going down the positive road or you going down the negative road. If you do a bunch of positive things and you do a lot of things that are good for you and are on the right path and are really moving in the right direction, it is only going to accelerate. It's only going to get better. And all of that compounds on itself, and it ends up moving in that direction very, very fast. The same goes for the negative. If you continuously funnel everything down that path, you only focus on the negative, they will continually compound themselves until it becomes so big that you can't take it on. And when you can't take it on, that's the days that you literally can't move and you can't get out of bed. You wake up, your eyes open, you immediately open your eyes, you immediately shut them because of how bright the light hits you, and it makes every single part of your body from the tip of your head all the way down through your toes all of it is in excruciating pain. You can't move. You don't want to go anywhere. That's how it feels if you just focus on the negative and let them continually pile on more and more and more and more and more. It will get to a point where you can't overcome it. And that's when you get stuck. And when you get to that point, you have to bring it down to the smallest level possible. Make a list. Simply make a list. Anything you did that day. So before it even gets to that point, a way to correct it now and get started moving in the right direction. Making lists. If you go 7 days, I would say 15 days, but 7 days is really more than enough because it realistically only took me like 3 days. But by the time I got to a week, it was no problem, and then made it to 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks, and then 4 weeks, and so it's a big change. But 7 days is more than enough. If you do it those 7 days, you're gonna want to keep doing it because it's going to change. On the beginning of the first day, whatever's the first thing that you did that day, you wake up, grab a journal, grab a little notepad, and you write, wake up, cross it off. You achieved that. You woke up. Start with that. That is a positive. You are alive. There are some people who didn't wake up today. So you know what? Write it down on the list. It's something you did. And sometimes starting at that base level of I woke up, you know what? That's a pretty good start. Start there. Wake up. Cross it off. When you make yourself get out of bed. You get out of bed, right? Got out of bed. Cross it off. If you shower, cross it off. Brush my teeth, cross it off. Eat breakfast, cross it off. Went to the bathroom, cross it off. Took the dog out, cross it off. Fed the dog, cross it off. Get this list going just with the basic things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And just write them down. And sometimes you might be able to plan for them. So like if you know you're going to take the dog out, if you know you're going to eat breakfast, if you know you're going to eat lunch, if you know you're going to have to take, your dog out and feed him again, it's like write that down again. There's things that you can plan for, but to start off, just make it a I did list. For the first day, an I did list. Everything you did that day, write it down to the fundamentality of starting with wake up and write everything down. And that way you can go through and you can cross every single one of them off. I guarantee you, you will feel better. There will be a little bit of you that goes, I ate quite a lot today. Crossing it off gives yourself a sense of achievement. When you have a little sense of achievement, there's that little thing that goes, good job. It's your conscience, it's a little voice, it's whatever we want to decide that is. But I feel like everyone has that little voice in their head. And if you do, and for the first day you make an I did list, and so you can cross everything off on that list. Something in you is going to say, good job. Or, wow, I did good. That was a good day. Good job today. Whatever it is, there's going to be a little bit of positive that goes through your mind. And that's all you need. Because guess what? For day 2, you can either prep and write down some of those that you know you're going to do again tomorrow. You can prep and start to do it that way, and then finish the rest of the day out by, again, everything you did, write it down, cross it off. Day 3, same thing. The stuff you know you're going to do. If you're feeling like there's some other stuff coming up now that's just aside from the everyday basic stuff, start to write that down. You can add to it. You can give yourself things to do. By the fourth day, you're definitely going to be able to give yourself things to do. You're going to be able to have a bunch of stuff that you're crossing off. You're going to feel even better because the next day, because you've now gotten to 4 days of crossing off a bunch of stuff that you did, you're going to have that little bit more of positive of good job. You did it again. Way to go today. Keep it up. All of that is just going to continue to snowball and compound on itself. So by the time you get to the 5th day and you had done something that you planned to do on the 4th day, and you now did something that wasn't just an everyday task. Say, started with put the dishes away, clean the kitchen, clean your room, clean the bathroom. Something that you've given yourself of an extra level to do, you're going to feel better. It's going to make you feel better. You planned it, you did it, you achieved it. That then makes it bigger tasks. By the time you get through the first week, you're going to be able to have a plan going forward of the things you're going to do every day. You're going to have a better idea of how you spend your day. And you're going to have an idea of the things you like, the things you don't like, the things you want to change. And then whatever you feel you want to change, you can change. Whatever you think, hey, that's pretty good, I'm going to keep this, you keep. But there's a lot of stuff that everyone knows. Hey, I probably shouldn't be doing this, or hey, this probably isn't of much value to me, or it's not benefiting me. You know what not to do. So you just should probably stop doing those things, because when I did, it changed. And it was about 7 days. And that's really why I say 7 days. You get to the end of 7 days and you're like, okay, I didn't really like doing these things and I didn't really think they had much value. So you just stop doing them. Could be watching TV. Could be, for some, if you're of age, drinking. Like, I just kind of got to I was just like, I feel worse the next day. I don't feel good at workouts. I see no benefit in it. Like, I can have fun without it. Like, there's just a lot of things just like, yeah, there's no point. There's no value. There's no nutritional value. It's pretty much a waste. You got tossed. And I kind of haven't gone back, and there's probably not much going back for that, because as of now, it's like, what value is it to me? It's only hurting me. It makes me worse. It's hurting my body, not helping my body. In the same regard, what you eat either helps your body or it hurts your body. Eating McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, Whopper, 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 Whopper. Hurt, 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 hurt. It's not good for you. It's not real food. Eat real foods. Chicken, steak, just beef in general. Turkey if you want. I've cut back on pork, but like, pork is fine. Vegetables, fruits, grains. Stop all the processed chemicals. You could eat a lot of food if it is real food, and you will lose weight than if you ate less of the junk. Let's say you had small little like weird like let's say you had now a big bowl of oatmeal. You switch to a big bowl of oatmeal and some fruit like that you make into a smoothie, and you have like a separate apple or a banana or something. I don't know, something like that. Or you have like some small little fast food breakfast sandwich thing. Like that's some small, like not really real food. You could eat a lot more than you can with like calorie wise. Like you can eat a lot more and it's healthier and better for you. Your body breaks this down. It's good for you. Your body likes this stuff. It knows the codes to break all of these things that are really good for you. It knows the code for them. It breaks them down. They like this stuff. Your body gets better with this stuff. The junk and all the chemicals and all the stuff that's made to be into food isn't good for you. It doesn't help your body. Your body doesn't know the codes of all these things. So it gets stored wrong and it doesn't get processed and your body doesn't do anything with it and your body doesn't like these things. These things lead to issues. These things over here with all the bad food and all the stuff that we put into our body and the amount that we're putting it into our body is more our reason of why a lot of people are having certain health issues. You could have a lot less health issues if you ate real food, period. You will sleep better, which will make your body feel better. Your joints and aches and pains, a lot of body inflammation will go away just by eating real foods. I'm not even saying you need to go work out. I'm just saying stop eating food that isn't food. Doritos are not food. You don't need them. There's a lot of other options out there, again, where you can eat a healthy option that's real food, that your body knows the code of, and you can eat a lot more of it than you can with something that's junk. And for me, I like food in terms of like big quantities. I literally just started eating real foods. Rice, chicken, beef, potatoes. Real food. You can eat as much fruit as you want. People go, "Oh, it's high in sugar." Yes, but your body understands this sugar. It's real. You can eat as much of it as you want. To a degree. Like, I'm not saying go and eat like 20 pineapple. Like, you can eat a lot of it and you're going to be just fine. The same goes for vegetables. The same goes, like, even potatoes. People say potatoes are so bad. Potatoes are real. They're a real thing. Your body knows what a potato is. I'm just saying there's a lot other ways to make yourself feel better as well, aside from just starting to do more. And that's why more starts very small. That's why I said start with get up. Cross it off. The cleaning your room is going to also clean your mind. I used to be the same way. What does it matter? Yeah, it's my room, it's the laundry. Well, my mind was pretty cluttered then too. I didn't think as clearly. There was a lot of things that, it was weird. You literally picked up my room and it's like, I had this whole thought process that I was thinking and talking and got it all cleared out. And I've made it look nice and what I want it to look like. I want it to look stylistically how I want it to, because I make that decision, which is the biggest point of all this. You get to decide. If you want to change, you can change. If you don't want to change, you don't have to change. That's your choice. That's kind of the best part about it. Like, you can decide. You don't have to if you don't want to. But at the same time, there's probably a little voice in your head that's going to be like, yeah, but you don't have to. You don't need to do it. Or you should have done this. I know. I've had that little voice in my head. But here's the best part. You can do it. I did it and I'm doing it, which means you can do it. That's the best piece. You can do it. I don't know if anyone's ever told you you can do it, but you can. What you have in your head are your ideas, and they're your ideas to make happen. They're not my ideas. They weren't given to me. The ideas that were given to me, I'm trying to go and do something with because they were given to me. They weren't given to you. They weren't given to someone else. The ideas that you have, only you know how to make happen. Period. So if you want to change, change. But you have to decide. Sitting on the fence isn't the answer either. Trust me, I was stuck there too. Because when you don't decide and you refuse to choose, well, you're deciding to not choose. And by deciding to not choose, not only are you not going to get either, it's automatic no's for both. Rather than deciding and saying, I'm going to choose this one, and I'm going to go and I've got a chance to be successful, and I got a chance to do it, and you give yourself that 50-50 chance. It can happen, it can't happen. That's valid. It's either going to happen or it's not going to happen. It's 50-50. But that's 50-50. If I'm so torn between deciding to do this and deciding to do this, it's 100% no. It's no longer 50-50. By deciding to not pick, I don't get either. Because if I chose to do this, it's still 50-50. It may happen, it may not happen, but it's still 50-50. But if I don't pick initially between two, I don't get either. Now, at the same time, I'm also saying you don't have to decide between both because you also can work towards both. Because I'm working towards multiple things, which you can do. It just makes the process longer. You can funnel everything into one and decide fully on one, because deciding fully on one will lead to everything being on one. But if you decide I'm going to do one and two, well, it could lead to you fail at both. It statistically will lead in the favor of you will then fail at both. But if you tell yourself, well, I'm going to do both and I'm going to make both happen, and you double down and you don't waste whatever is going on, you don't procrastinate, you lock in, you understand what you're going to do, and you give this one 8 hours a day, you give this one 8 hours a day, and that's what you do. You can make both happen. But if you don't decide, it's only 100% no. To make a plan, you'll have to have some goals. So I'd recommend probably starting with the 7 days of starting with the I did list to then the to-do list. I think by the end of those 7 days, you can then make some goals, and that would then lead from there. But to have a plan, you'll need some goals. And once you have some goals, you'll then be able to break those down. You can have a goal for the day. You can have a goal for the week. You can have a goal for the month. Again, you get to decide. So it's up to you. I do recommend do some 1 month goals, do some 3 month goals, 6 month, and then 1 year. It's normally easiest to start with a year, because you can say, okay, well, what am I going to do this year? it makes it easier thinking wise because in your head, you're like, well, I've got 12 months. And so it's normally easier sometimes deciding to, well, what do I want to do in a year? Sometimes triggers and you get some pretty broad ideas. And then the broad ideas you can then break down into the smaller goals of, well, okay, well, if I could take this 12 month, okay, well, what can I get done in 6 months? And then you break it down further and go, okay, well, what can I get done in 3 months? Okay, and then what can I get done in 1 month? So that ends up being a pretty good way to start. Is you start about 12 months out because it gives you enough time to, hey, I've got 12 months. You can come up with some broad ideas of a year and just kind of scale back. And then once you get to the point of 1 month, you can get all the way down to per week. You can get down to per day. And that makes it even easier, especially if it's like, well, I want to sell 20 shirts a month. It's like, well, okay, that means that you could sell 1 shirt a day every Monday through Friday. And so it's like, well, you just know that for 4 straight weeks, you have to sell 1 shirt Monday through Friday. I think that would be easy enough. And that's how you can kind of start. And that would have been from like a larger goal. If it was 20 in the month, then yeah, I guess you could probably say, well, I'd like to do, 150 in 6 months. And it's like, well, I'd like to do 20 the first month. And then maybe it's from 20, maybe it's to 40, and then wherever you want to go from there. But random example in my head. So it's up to you guys. I'd just make sure to decide. So to recap and start it off, you're born to win. You can do it because it's meant for you. You're born to win at something. You have the potential to be insanely successful, have everything full of fulfillment because you were meant to do something. You can do it. It's going to come natural to you. You're going to succeed. The human body is the only body, and human body is the only machine that gets better with work. Science and life, at the end of the day, it's a positive and a negative. It all balances out. They're the same. It's all the same. Everything's going to be about balance. Make lists. Take your 7 days. Start with the I did list. Then after about the 3rd and 4th day, start to shift and add in some to-dos on that to-do list. And by the time you get through 5 days, you're going to have a decent to-do list. And at the end of the 7 days, I would then say make a goal for the next 12 months. And then once you have your 12-month goals, I'd say do 10. Have 10 goals for 12 months. And then you can scale and break those goals down into 6 month, 3 month, 1 month, and however other ways that you would like to break them down. But at the end of the day, you can change if you want to change. You don't have to change if you don't want to change. The only thing that matters is you, because it's up to you to decide, not me, not anyone else, not your mom, not your dad, not your friends, not your wife, not your husband, whatever it is. The only person that can decide for you is you, and you're the only one that knows what you want to do. So you can do it. I'm here to believe in you because I know you can do it. That's the whole point of Born to Win. So start with the 7 days. Get your goals. Know you can do it. You're meant to do it. You are born to win. So I will talk to you guys on the next one. Stay tuned as well, because in the coming days, some of this is hopefully going to be finalized, so I'll know a better idea of some of the new guests coming on and from there. But as Les Brown says, if you can look up, then you can get up. And I think that's all you need. You're born to win. That's it for today. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out.